we have Rebeca Veras. Por
Thank you.
favor, adelante.
Muchas gracias. Thank you very much for all the organization. I want to make a disclosure first. Is the sound okay in the back? Yeah. I just came yesterday from Guatemala, so it's a long trip, and I'm very jet lagged. And usually in the past gatherings, I have like 2 or 3 days to get used, like full English in my mind. But right now, I'm gonna start maybe mixing. I have a translator here, yeah, nearby. So if I forget some words, please be patient with me. But actually, it's a real honor to be here today and have the opportunity to talk and share with you some reflections about my work on the biosemiotics of the gut microbiome. I am working with human gut microbiome, so all what I'm going to be talking is going to be about that. And actually, when I study this, this is a very interesting topic. It's also a necessary topic to talk about, but this talk is totally unnecessary, and I'm going to tell you why. First, because it's a very complicated way to get to a conclusion that we already know. I'm going to say it at the end, so you have to pay attention to get to that conclusion. But I think it's like a scientist, we like to get, like to go around and around and around to just say what is obvious sometimes. So we have to go all that complicated path to state the obvious. So I'm going to state the obvious at the end, but this is the way of saying it in a complicated way. Hopefully, biosemiotics is going to be something that is going to help in microbiome research to make it more accessible and understandable to all, not only scientists, but to the public in general. And I just wanted, well, it's okay. So first we have to make some common ground in the subject. So I wanted to state some things. What is the human microbiome? The human microbiome is a concept. Microbiota are the microbes that we have. I'm going to talk about we because I'm talking about human microbiome. So we, the microbiota are the microbes, and the microbiome is the microbes with its genetic material. And we are the host, and microbes are what is known as a holobiont. I'm not going to go deep into that because that's a very, there's a lot of controversies in this area, but I am going to take the human as a holobiont, and this is how we're going to be working. What we know is that a microbiome during a host life, especially humans, is not a static. It's in constant development. It changes by some factors like lifestyles, factors like a diet or exercise, medication use. Stress is also a huge component of this. Other factors as how a child was delivered. And all these factors at the end and the stable microbiome or the microbiome is then related to diseases. And this is a very important topic for research, because right now the question is that is the microbiota associated only to the diseases, or is it causing it? That's one of the questions that researchers are still trying to answer. But the amount of diseases that are related to the microbiota are several, not only physical, at the physical level, but also at the mental level. So we already know that the microbes have some influence, not only in how we feel because physically, but also how can we feel mentally. And regarding this, well, there's the gut-brain axis. That is this bidirectional communication system that connects the gut with the brain. And we know that in this communication, there's microbes involved. They're not just they're actually participating in the communication. So it is important to study them from this point of view. You can see that this graph is it may seem complicated, but at the end it's not that complicated. Studies on the microbiome have developed several theories, not only in the biological science, but also even in philosophy and in cognitive studies. So there are several theories that have been evolving around time. We still have no agreement. So this is an ongoing and never-lasting research. So we're going to keep going until we have some more conclusive answers. I am really hoping that actually AI and all the AI rising is going to help accelerate this, and we're going to have more answers soon. So one of the questions I've been doing with this research is actually if biosemiotics can help in the understanding of the gut-brain dialogue. If that is possible or not, if it is, how is that going on? And if this can also, if biosemiotics is helping in this dialogue, if also this can help in developing personalized healthcare interventions. And regarding that, I have a couple of papers under review still. This is one where I am trying to discuss a little bit of the holobiont, the human holobiont as a biosemiotic system, using Jesper Hofmeier's work and von Uxkull and some other biosemiotic principles to show with some examples how the gut microbiota is actually participating and in this biosemiotic system that is the human holobiont. And this is another paper that is still under review, but here I am working with Ture von Uxkull's work and trying to explain also the gut-brain axis. So the thing is, we have this at the physical level and the mental level, but now I was trying to go a little bit to an upper level, say at some point. Some of the questions that are still going around with this in this research is what is a holobiont, how does the holobiont brain work, and how the holobiont thinks of itself. This is the other question I am trying to bring to my research. But and this is also something that other people are doing. This is a very nice work done. This professor, I don't know how to say it, Hub Swart. He's from here, right? This research was done in this school, so that was very nice. When I found, I didn't know, so I thought this is synchronicity. I don't know, the universe is telling me something. But actually, this paper, the awareness of human microbiome, is a very nice paper because what the researchers are trying to show is if the awareness, if people being aware of what their microbiome is and what is going on, is if that is helping, first of all, if there is enough awareness. Sorry, I don't know if this is, okay, if it falls down, oh, you tell me. If this awareness is actually helping also in their own health, you know, if people actually are trying to incorporate new changes in their health by knowing, just by being aware. And this term, microbiome awareness, is being introduced and is being studied in other populations. It's interesting that even in medical students or in medical scientists, this is not a topic that is incorporated fully in their practice, and this is what is worrying, right? Because if the microbes have this, I'm going to say it just like that, this power in our health, they have to be taken into account when we have health interventions. So we already know that they are part of physical health and they are part of mental health, but I came into Luis de Miranda's work. I don't know if somebody knows his work. He's in Sweden. He's not from Sweden, but he's working there. And Luis talks about philosophical health. And what this means is that what he's actually saying is that it's not enough that we have physical well, we're okay in our bodies, we're okay in our minds, but we have to take this a little bit further. We have to take it up. Humans actually need a philosophy of life to be more flourishing. So when I was going through this, and he proposes actually 6 senses of philosophical health. He has a lot of work. If you actually have time, go into it. It's very nice what he's actually doing. He developed a method. I don't have, I'm not, I have to do the, he's not paying me for doing this, but he's very, I really admire his work. But when I was going through the 6 senses of philosophical health, I actually thought if all this philosophical health actually could be separated from the microbiome, you know? And guess what? No, I don't think actually you can be healthy at all if you don't take into account your microbes. I don't want to sound also like the microbes are not paying me either to make this statement, but it is important to know that we don't have to over-dimension their participation, but we cannot also under-dimension what they are actually doing. So what I am proposing is another sense. I don't want to add more to anything. I am just putting a fancy name in microbiome awareness, you know, what we were talking before. So is the sense of microbial harmony. And I'm gonna read because it's the complicated definition, but then I'm gonna make it very, very understandable and easy. So it's the embodied mindful recognition of one's symbiosemiotic relation with microorganisms, where perception becomes active interpretation, and this is within a biopsychosocial context. It supports workable attunement. So making this very, very simple is just to recognize that we have a relation with microorganisms. After that, we pay attention to what signals or which signals they can actually send us. And after that, we take or not take action. And that's the sense of microbial harmony. It's just a way of saying that, okay, so if we try to develop a little bit of this interoceptive signals that we pay attention, we can actually do something about it. So this is actually a cognitive process. It's cognitive and bodily. It's a little bit of a mix. It's context sensitive, history dependent. There has to be some attunement also because we're going to recognize some signals that at some point even before we already experienced. So we are having some attunement there, and this is going to take to habit formation. So it's a little bit more of cognitive. Where does biosemiotic come here? Where we can actually, I'm working in presenting also the triadic structure. But not only this, I am also a little bit more drawn to Uxkul's work here because this is a very, very, very also subjective experience. What is happening is that there's a lot going on with signaling here, with the brain receiving, of course, the signals by the gut, but also the body intermediately is understanding those signals. And the idea is to us be aware of this, and so we can make something about it. So at this point, von Uxkul's work is very, very helpful. The sign vehicles are this microbial modulated cues. There are meaning carriers, not just inputs. They are saying something. So what we need to do is to understand what they're saying. And of course, this is a work in progress yet. It's a model that I am trying to sustain. But as I said before, I think it is a very, very interesting way also to making biosemiotics go out to the public, you know, because when it's well crafted, I would like to put a little bit of more understandable, like words and everything. As Kalevi was saying, I really love that we need also in science, the vague analysis in natural language, like the concept. So I think this is also going to help to not only people understand what the microbes are doing in them, but also that what a biosemiotic process can be like in everyday life, something to say like that. So there's also, this is also a multi-level semiotic process, because we have, several levels actually, from the micro level to the macro level. We're involving not only semiosis in the brain, but also to the host action. So this is, this is going to bring some habits, as I said, that should impact health. It was nice also to hear the Jagmor's talk before, and the concept of symphony, because I thought, okay, this is going to be a very musical gathering, right? Because it's symphony, and I'm talking about harmony. It's nice to listen to all this other ways of approaching biosemiotics, and also that it is like this. I am not talking also of harmony like the beauty aesthetic level. This is more of a wellness state. Harmony is a word to actually explain it a little bit better, but it's not. It also has not to be taken as the extreme of I feel good in a weird way, because it is interesting that we are not aware that we feel good sometimes. We know that we felt good when we are feeling bad. We know that we have a stomach until it hurts, but right now, if it's not hurting, you're okay. I know that I have a stomach right now because it's, nervous. But after that, we don't know. We're not aware of that. So when we propose something in positive, it's hard to explain, because how do I explain wellness, something that is also so subjective, when it's also contrasted with unwellness, that it would be disease. So this is actually is going to be a process, as I said. It is a concept and a state where there's a lot of biosemiotics going on, but it's a recursive loop. There's going to be other facts to have in meaning. But what I wanted to talk is about the limitations. This is, as I said, something that is we're growing on it, but. In microbiome research, one of the complications is that there are still many questions open, and we know which microbes are like the common ones, but we don't know which ones we have, or if the ones that we have now are changing, and that is doing some good or not doing some good. And if it is doing good to you, it's not going to do good to you or to me. It can be very subjective. But in this pool of actually of all these questions, how then are we going to define what is health? Or I'm talking about a health model, but what is actually health if we still don't have that well established? So I wanted just to show this because why is so complicated. This is very well explained in this paper, because they are talking about really what I said before, right? That we know how to describe the disease, and we can say this, and we know symptoms, and this is how medicine has been going on all this time. But wellness is very complicated. So we're there. We're trying to do something and just focus on the positive. We know that, but it is actually, when we see our society, we understand that it's not like that, right? We only pay attention to the bad. So this is I am proposing that this is our cognitive biosemiotic process. Why biosemiotic? Because, well, is semiotic or is biosemiotics here? What's the, because it's the human, that the one that is going on, but it's interoceptive concept, but actually the body is doing something. So I don't think it is possible even to have only when a line of thought is outside or leaving from or ignoring actually the microbes. As I said before, it's I think it is incomplete. It's something there is missing. You don't have to study directly, but at least be aware that it might be a bias at some point because they're doing something. We don't know what, but there's something going on that it has to be like, I don't know, a tiny percentage of variation. So biosemiotics, I think, is the most respectful of the theoretical or the fields, to say it in some way, that actually gives the microbes their place, you know? the biosemiotics studies the microbes, tries to understand them, obviously, with the levels of cognition and everything that they require. I'm not going to say that we have the same cognition, but I thought if I'm going to propose something that is going to be related to the microbiome and to humans, it has to be biosemiotic. It cannot be just semiotic. But this is, I don't know. I'm not a semiotician, so you please afterwards correct me. But for me, it's a little bit, no, this is going to be bad, but like potato, but no, I know it's not like that. Biosemiotics is for me like the best way to approach it. Cognitive or bodily. It's cognitive mostly. It's bodily, so I think it's an embodied cognition. It's processual because, as I said, it's a lot going on, and there's some biosemiotic frameworks. The ones I mentioned are just some. I think there's a lot of more of the biosemioticians that can give us more insights on this. So how is this, to conclude, how does this work? Well, microbial signals act as bodily cues, as I said. Through interpretation, they can form habits. This is like the concise definition. These processes create functional circles that sustain self-regulation, and health then can be at some point reconceived then with coherence between the host and the microbiome ecosystem. And why biosemiotics matters for microbiome research, I always think that the biosemiotics is the Thanos of microbiome research because it's inevitable. You cannot avoid it. If you really want to study the microbiome, we need to include biosemiotics because it's going to add the missing dimension of meaning and interpretation, not only to microbiome research, to all research, right? So this is why I told you that what I said before, that it was a very long way to get to the basics, and the basics is listen to your gut. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for your patience, and I'm open to comments. True.
Thank you. It's wonderful, and I have to also thank to the organizers because they have put my fault. It's almost a proof of like a proof of the concept. I love this. It's clear demonstration of how the internal resonance and cross levels attunement, right? So you say,
yeah.
Can we go back to that slide where you mentioned self-representation or self-description of the microbiome? I think I saw something like this in the second slide or so.
Which one would be self?
Go back.
This one?
No, back with the list.
Oh. It's earlier? Oh, this was the first one.
No. Over then. Mention self-image or self-representation.
That was in the book.
Yeah, how the holobiome thinks of itself. Did you go into that or?
No, no,
Can-
no.
can- Say a few words about the.
Yeah.
design.
Okay, awesome. Actually, this question goes a little bit, and thank you for the comments. And yeah, I also thought the same when I saw the titles of the topics and listening to your talk. There's a lot of research also and questions around individuality, and it's a little bit about that. It is because one thing is, what do we think of ourselves as humans, but how does that change when you still don't know even what you are? Saying it in a simple words, because it's more deep than that, right? It's like individuality is being questioned. This is more like a philosophy of science discussion. There's a lot on this, and first of all is, how does this change what we know about ourselves? And the other one is, if we as holobions, using that words, are aware, and how does this change the systems that outside of us? How do we think of ourselves, and how do we think of other selves like us, to say something like that? It's more about that, the individuality discussion. Okay.
So wonderful. I'd like to ask about the communication between holobions. Obviously, some components of smell tell to the other holobiont about the first one's microbiome. Yeah. And now, what's known here, are there some general rules that, is it so that if other one has no smell, that it is a sign of that these microbiomes fit to each other? Or what's known about this aspect of smell recognition here, and now in relation to how these two microbiomes way
that's awesome. That's awesome, but I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know. I know that there's a lot of that we actually communicate through smell. I know also that the microbes are related to, like, the components that sometimes are in the skin or in other organs are contributing. It's like the metabolic products of the microbes, which are the ones that are producing, and that's supposedly what we're detecting. But how I'm going to have to go into that. If you give me a couple of days, we can talk. Yeah. Please, I just haven't read about it. No, thanks to you. Yeah.
I'm the next speaker.
Okay, thank you.